Hello, welcome to Elemental Movement and Food, and today we're making Switchel. So Switchel is an old-fashioned hydrating drink that was brought to us by farmers, and farmers since the 1800s have been drinking this to bring in the harvest or when they have a long day working in the field. Farmers knew the difference between water and hydration. And the difference is hydration is when we have complete cellular water. Our cellular water is made up of minerals, proteins, sugars, electrolytes, and of course salts. And when the cellular water is complete, then we can have energy, we can restore, we can reform, we can continue to have all our metabolic functions that need to take place. We also will get rid of metabolic waste. So when the water is organized in the cell, and it looks a whole lot different than regular water. Water is an ingredient to hydration. So the ultimate goal is hydration, and to start to look at or to feel or to sense when we are thirsty. I believe that we're one of the only animals that have been told when we should be drinking, and my pets, they won't drink if they're not thirsty. So I'd love for you to be able to get back to sensing when you need water and how we can make it more complete. So today we're trying Switchel. And Switchel has been called many things. It's been called Yankee Punch, Haymaker's Punch, depending on what the festivity is or what the region is and what their recipe is. I'm going to show you mine, and you can play around with it a lot. What we really want to do is add more ingredients to the ingredient water so that ultimately we have better hydration. All right, I'm going to start off with a basic. And the basic will just be ginger. So I've ground up some ginger here, and you need a tablespoon of ginger. I have a wide mouth mason jar. You can have it in any kind you want. This is almost 3 cups of water. So I'm adding 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped ginger. You can add powdered. I have, this is not traditional, but I have ground up some turmeric because another ingredient to add in. Then I want to add in a little bit of salt, so just a pinch of salt, and I'm going to add in maple syrup as my sweetener. So you can add in honey, you can add in sugar. It's the harvest season here. Maple syrup is readily available. You can add in honey. So it's a tablespoon. I'm just eyeing it because I do a lot of measuring by scale for baking, and I like playing when I'm cooking. So now what I want to do is I want to add these ingredients in, and I'm just going to mix them up a little bit in the glass. Now I want to add some warm water, not hot water. So I'm adding in warm water, and the idea of adding in the warm water is just to make sure that we can dissolve whatever sweetener we've put in. So again, it's not hot, not boiling, and I'm going to add in just a bit. You can see a little bit of condensation from this. I'm going to mix it up. And now the big ingredient that we want is apple cider vinegar. I've made my own. Yes, I'm bragging. No, I'd love to show you how in another video, how to make your apple cider vinegar really easy to do, and it smells like apples. So we need to add that in, and what we want the apple cider vinegar to do is to extract all the nutrition from whatever we put in. So we don't want to, you'll see that it's a bit cloudy, and you'll see what they call the mother is sort of floating around in here. There's condensation, and it just sort of looks unfiltered because it is. So we want all that good bacteria from the apple cider vinegar to extract, so I don't want to add it in when it's hot. So I'm going to add in some water. Now water, depending on what type of water you have, it can be an ingredient. It can be a bad ingredient if it has all sorts of additives in it, like chlorine and fluoride. So you might want to filter. We also don't want water that has been completely distilled or all of the minerals removed. I have a well and it's filtered, so I'm going to just put some water in here, add it in. And that is Switchel. So what you would do here, I have a lid here. You need 1 day, at least 1 day. If you like it more fizzy or more fermented, you can leave it up to 2 or 3 days at room temperature. Then you put a lid on it and you put it in the fridge and you can enjoy it. I can use, so I have fancy lids, I'll show you them. If you don't, then you can use a coffee filter. Just place it around over top and then an elastic and leave it out for about a day, and then put a proper lid on, shake it up and enjoy. I am gonna flavor this. I want to flavor, I think I'm doing 5 different flavors. So I'm gonna flavor this with cherry juice. And often I will make my own juice. I did not make my own juice because I don't know where to find cherries right now. So I'm just gonna add about a 1/4 cup. Now, I have all sorts of different ways to, you would flavor now, not at the very beginning. I have different ways to add to this, and I think what I'd like to do is add in some cherry and some carob. So we got a chocolate cherry thing going on. I'm gonna add that in, and then just put the lid back on, and we'll make 4 more. So next will be a little bit of turmeric, 1 tablespoon of ginger, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, a pinch of salt, and the warm water to dissolve. Okay, again, I don't want to add the apple cider vinegar until everything is cool, or at least not hot. All right, I'm adding in my apple cider vinegar now. And I'm going with a cherry theme today. So we're going to add in another 1/4 cup or thereabouts of cherry juice. And then I'm going to just throw in some mint. All right, now I have another lid. These are wide mouth masons, and this lid has a mesh on it. So it automatically, I can just leave it out for a day or 2. And there's my next one. So here we're gonna do it again. Another scoop of ginger, 1 tablespoon or thereabouts. You can add more in if you really want it to be nice and flavorful. I'm adding in a bit of turmeric, pinch of salt, maple syrup, I'm going to add in some warm water, dissolve the maple syrup, add in the cold, did I add in a pinch of salt to this? I hope so. So now some cherry juice, and this is where you can really have a lot of fun. So I am going to add in some hibiscus. You want to, if you're going to add in hibiscus, make sure you have a wider mouth because they expand. So these little, just a couple of the dried flowers, add them in. And I think I'd like to add some hibiscus and rose. And so the rose petals are just small, and that will be a nice way to sweeten up the tart cherry. My next, it's a fancy lid. This is a lid for sprouting, which I also want to show you how to do. It's really easy to get your sprouts in. And we have 1 more. So let's go with, actually I have 2 more. All right, I think it's enough. You can just play around with the flavors. You'll get the idea. Here's some more turmeric, pinch of salt, sweetener. Did I add the apple cider vinegar to the last two? Thanks. All right, I think I might have forgot. I'm gonna add them in, the apple cider. Tell me at home, I think I forgot. So I need the hot water into here, or warm, don't listen to me. Warm water. And now I add in the cold. And you add in the apple cider, and I know I didn't add it into the others, so I'm going to go back and do that. I won't bore you with it. So this one, I think I'd like to add a little bit of marigold with my cherry juice and the apple cider. Yeah, I don't remember pouring it in the other two. And so here's some dried marigold flowers. Just gonna add a pinch of those. And I think I might add a couple hibiscus as well. But you can flavor it any way you like. And again, another lid. Thank you. Happy hydration, and hope you enjoy. So one day, at least one day out, just to allow everything to marry up and to extract all of the other ingredients to give us perfect hydration. If you want to allow it to go for another 2 or 3 days, then go ahead and do that. And you put it in, you close the lid and put it in the fridge and drink whenever you like. Thanks for joining me.